tortured to death by a police officer. He was reportedly summoned following a riff he had with his neighbor at his business site when he was intercepted by the police, who tortured him to death. A family invaded the premises of the station this morning but were dispersed with a tear gas. Gladys Ambodibang completes that story.
An inconsolable family at the premises of the 9th Police District in Deido Douala this November 18, 2021. They are mourning the death of 36-year-old Zimo Belton, husband to 3 wives and father to 15 children, who was tortured by the police yesterday, was released late in the night and died in the early hours of this Thursday. According to reports, he was intercepted by the police following a complaint from his neighbor in the Bepanda neighborhood, a female police officer with whom he had a disagreement. He was summoned 3 times by the police following a complaint from that lady. Yesterday, he called me that the police has transported him to the station. I didn't know which of the stations. He was tortured. I was only called this morning that he is no more. He died at home, from what I was told. When we arrived here yesterday evening, we found that he was tortured with a wound on his face. We tried all we could, and by the time we were leaving, by 10:30 p.m., he told the police he might not survive the beatings because he was vomiting blood. I was informed this morning that he died in the night. As the family transported the corpse from the deceased residence in Bonaberry to the police station, friends and sympathizers stormed the premises of the police station and filled the air with wailing and curses. Anti-riot police immediately arrived at the scene and used water cannon and tear gas to disperse the population. The remains of Belton Zimo were transported and deposited in the mortuary.
The General Union of Cameroon Workers have expressed worries of the universal health coverage initiated, which they say cannot effectively meet the insurance of workers. In a press declaration this November 18, 2021, the trade union is revealed that the law on the universal health coverage has already been tabled in Parliament. The system this laments will rather become a huge burden to workers, given the meager salaries many earn. Let's take a listen to this excerpt.
Trade unions and employers are important partners for development of the country, and therefore there needs to be engagement and consultations with them. It got to a point where they were no more involved, and so that's where the problem started, and that is why they are asking that they should be brought on board so that the social dialogue, as we want it to be, will function as it should be. You as a worker, if you are benefiting from mutual health insurance at the workplace, where the employer is bearing all the costs, 100% of the cost, and now there is going to be a universal health coverage in which you are going to be asked to pay a percentage. Obviously, the worker is not going to be happy with it.
And the Ministry of Finance has decided to reduce a freight import costs on goods coming through the seaport by 80%. The move is intended to cushion the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and to reduce business more competitive and to render business more competitive during the post-COVID recovery era. The decision takes effect from the date of a signature and is expected to run through February 2022. The kickoff of the third phase of the COVID or vaccination against COVID-19 in Cameroon to begin from November 17th to the 21st. Vaccination centers are set to receive Cameroonians in Douala. Vaccination centers have been beefed up. Health personnel have been encouraged to remobilize in order to scale up the vaccination against COVID-19 to ensure Cameroonians move or get the vaccine. Officials of the United States branch embassy here in the city of Douala visited some vaccination centers. Let's take a listen.
We have all confidence in this process. I can tell you that myself, in the past, this year, I had COVID-19, and I decided to get the vaccine early this year, and since then, I have felt no regrets since having the vaccine. So we anticipate the campaign will continue. As we know, the U.S. government, the COVID-19 campaign is enduring, is a priority, and this is indeed a global campaign. And from what we saw, this is something that we certainly want to tell people that please come and get your vaccine. And again, this is, from our impressions, a well-organized campaign.
Meantime, the low vaccination rate against COVID-19 in Cameroon remains a major challenge to health practitioners in the littoral region. Regional health officials have been grappling with the situation as they acquire more skills. As we hear the following story.
They are all health personnel and heads of vaccination centers in the littoral region. They have one mission: to scale up vaccination against COVID-19, which for now has been rated as below 4%. For 5 days, focus was on strategies and methods to bring Cameroonians closer to the COVID-19 vaccines.
Hopefully, in their training package, they will also be drilled on the strategies on ground and what has been able to work so far. So we are hoping that the zeal and the passion with which they went through the training, they are going to carry this to the field and also implement the strategies which have best practices so far within the country.
The coordinator of the project for the littoral remains optimistic.
They are going home with a lot of knowledge that has been assimilated, and I think that they are well prepared to begin work on Monday. So I can assure the public that the actors have been trained, and that those big vaccination centers, that is Salle de Fête d'Aqua and Pakuvita will be operational as from next week.
After grabbing knowledge and tactics, the health personnel will be evaluated on their performances on the field with a precise mission to vaccinate at least 80% of vulnerable targets of population by December 2021. The third phase begins mid-November 2021.
Book fair to promote reading culture in Cameroon has flanked up in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. The organizers are interested in inculcating reading culture in children at the tender ages. At the fairground, authors, libraries, and publishing houses came together to showcase their works with books reading in diverse themes like negritude, culture, music, and many others. More in the following story.
Reciting their poems in all confidence, a way of inculcating reading culture in children at a tender age. The poor reading culture is becoming more critical as years go by. Literary artists and publishers have cried out. Launching the first edition of the book fair in Douala, November 17, the problematic of bringing Cameroonians closer to books was raised.
The Douala City Council attached an importance to the book, because the knowledge is inside the book. If you don't have access to the book, you don't have access to knowledge.
Experts at the Douala Book Fair reiterated the importance of a reading society, which they say is knowledge-based society and, by extension, a developed society. This lady is the brain behind the first edition of the Douala Book Fair, with backing of the City Council. She wants to change the narrative around books.
Make that our children read every day. It is very important.
At the fairground, authors, libraries, and publishing houses came to showcase their works with books on themes
that centers around negritude, culture, music, politics, kids' literature. Organizers, through the book fair, also sought to promote reading culture from the bees through a context for school-going kids drawn from 3 primary schools in Douala. For the next 2 weeks, book lovers and authors will be drilled through workshops on how to better write, educate, and market their works. Cameroon flag bearers of Miss World 2021 competition are now unknown. Cameroon's 2 candidates for the Miss World and Miss Universe competition were presented to the press November 17 in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. The 2 beauty queens say they are now ready to fly the country's flag higher in the competition. More with our student journalist in Yaoundé.
Andre Nabila Mokam, Miss Cameroon 2020, is 24 years old with 1.80 meters tall. She is a holder of a bachelor degree, originated from the Northwest region, Cameroonian candidate for Miss World. Michelle Ange Minkata, Miss Cameroon 2016. She is 25 years, height 1.73 meters. She is a bachelor graduate in geography with a very wealthy beauty. The Cameroonian candidate for Miss Universe. These 2 candidates are real symbols of beauty and ambassadors of Cameroon-rich culture before the eyes of the international community.
Miss Cameroon was for me a platform that helped me discover myself. It helped me build myself, which eventually took me to international pageants.
After going in for numerous competitions, they say this is a new challenge.
We know that everywhere we want to go to as a black, it's not easy to stand out in international pageants. But from our outfits and how we present our culture, the most important thing we can do is sell our diversity, meaning every candidate out there is going to know that in Cameroon we have a little bit of all of them here in our country.
Though with numerous challenges, they are very well prepared to write their names in the beauty books of the world.
Today I am really excited because I know I am almost prepared, and maybe the 10% or 5% that is left is how I'm going to work hard there to keep our flag flying at the international stage.
The candidate officially presented to the press this November 17 in Yaoundé called on all Cameroonians to be their #1 fans and massively vote for Cameroon through their respective online pages or Komika website.
And we now talk sports. We talk about the football. Cameroon's Football Federation, FECAFOOT, where 3 candidates have successfully deposited their candidature for the race to the presidency of the Cameroon Football Federation this Thursday, November 18. Jean Crepin Yamsi and 2 former indomitable lions, Emmanuel Mambourg Kezak and Jules Denis Onana, have dropped their fouls these a few minutes ago at the Electoral Commission of FECAFOOT. This takes a number of 4 to 4, adding to that of Samuel Etofis, who filed in his candidature. That was yesterday. And that was it for this edition of Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly this level. 5 will arrange this Lenkanga, but coming up next is the brief with Lil Pijou. As of me, I'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.